Hey, anyway, welcome to Saturday. It is time for the second cup. Sorry I didn't do one yesterday. Had more internet trouble and had a student to teach at a hard deadline. And by the time I had to give up on this, I was well into teaching and I was well into my third cup of coffee. So I thought that was important. So second cup. Hopefully you guys are doing good. That was a little improvisation. Seems I've been dealing with a lot in my lessons lately about some modal stuff and how to use modes. And I overwhelmingly, I have beard face. Like I literally just woke up and this is what my beard looked like. Cause yeah, it's like bed head, but it's beard head or bed beard or something. But anyway, in talking about modal stuff, with a handful of my students right now, just trying to get the understanding of what a mode sounds like. There are certain chord approaches that I think are better, at least for me, because for me it's all about getting your ear to accept the sound and then dealing with the sound of it. So that thing that I was just playing with, yes, it was E major mode something, but I did a little fooling around in there. Basically, what I played is this idea of a B major triad over E, which is cool because it's like you could think about it almost like a B major with its fourth in the root, so it kind of has that suspension-y sound all the while. But B major kind of gives you the fifth, the major seven, and the nine right off the bat. So you get this nice open kind of Ionian sound. And then if you want to dabble between Ionian and Lydian, you have that beautiful A sharp that you can play around with. And that makes you playing B major 7 over E, which is kind of cool. And then there's also the idea if you want to play E mixed to Lydian, you get the D natural, so that's like playing B minor. So I didn't mess around with that. I think on one passage I did a little chromatic thing where I even played a G natural or an F double sharp, depending on how you want to look at that. Didn't really have a plan for it. It was just kind of the way the improvisation was going. So yeah, that's the idea with the second cup. First musical thought of the day, a little bit of chord stuff and a little bit of improvisation over that, just to get a little bit of that sound happening. Seems like I deal with that a lot, and just how to use chords to bring the modal sound in, as opposed to diatonic harmony. That I know it's a weird thing because it's the same scale as the major scale, but it's used in all these different ways. I know that creates some confusion. And it only will for a little while. Like I do find that there's no right one way to look at modes. There are all these different approaches that definitely have their benefits for thinking about them. Yeah, it's like a little paradigm shift. Not any one of those I've heard people talk about is necessarily wrong, but thinking about them any one of those ways can drive your ear in a little bit of a different direction, which I think is super cool. Because eventually, this all just becomes stuff, and it's just sounds that you want to access and get into. So that's one of my approaches about that. And I happen to love that sound. Go to any root and play a major chord, one perfect fifth above it, and you get that kind of a thing. D over G is another one I use a lot. It's a really beautiful sound. And again, it's just that same idea, just a simple triad over that bass note, which I dig. And then you can riff between them. If I was thinking about that as I'm thinking B over E, but I'm thinking about that as a treatment for an E major 7 kind of sound. Well, I could still use everything that I know about a 5-to-1 resolution with B to E. Interesting to do that, to play B7. Definitely sounds much more diatonic than modal if I do that. So maybe this works a bit better if we treat it strictly as an open modal thing, or as a sharp 11 kind of sound, like a Lydian sound. Messing around with the B, getting all those sus2 gives you that nice 6-9. It's a pretty cool sound. Doing the same thing with a B6. kind of approach gives you that major 7 and a 9. Beautiful sound there. Gives you the 5 and the major 7, but you get that dissonance there, that minor second. Really beautiful sound. So it's like a B11 over E kind of a thing. Anyway, there you go. A little B major over E for your Saturday 4th episode of The Second Cup. I don't really have a plan with this other than, again, this is motivation to get me up and doing stuff and thinking about things before I start my day of other musical activities. Just kind of see what my first thoughts are and just be accountable for them. I don't know how long I'll do this. Hopefully until I get out of this little bit of a funk of just, lowered motivation. If there was a song about that. So, yeah, that's what I'm working with today. Hopefully you have an equally luscious and delicious, juicy modal experimentation to do this morning for yourself. I guess it's afternoon now. I guess it's 2 o'clock. I did get up earlier. And see, this is the thing. I held off on my second cup of coffee because I knew I wanted to do this, holding myself accountable. And that's why I'm calling this one Showing Up. Yeah, that is Watermelon and Easter Hay. Which is basically A. I don't want to play too much of it. And then you get that B over E. Yeah, that's one of the first places I was introduced to that particular chord usage. Pretty cool. Old Frank always coming in with an interesting polychord or cluster or slash chord for me to digest. So yeah, I called this one Showing Up because that's sort of the thing. After doing 3 of these already, I was frustrated yesterday with my internet problems and then I bailed on the whole thing. But yeah, it's about showing up. And every day I work for myself, I got to show up. And when I have students on my schedule, I'm really good about showing up for them. Or if, I have a specific deadline of a thing I've got to do, I'm good about that. When it comes to working for myself, working on my own tunes and my own things that I'm practicing. And I've got some other things I'm working on too. So I've discovered some picking hangups that have crept back into my playing because I've not been practicing. So that's another thing I'm going to jump on is more metronome studies and things like that. So yeah, Zappa definitely is the man. So anyway, I may entertain with either continuing to do these live, or if it helps me be accountable for doing these all the time and I want them to be short, maybe what I'll do is I'll just I'll get up and I'll record it and then I'll post it up and speak my thoughts afterwards with that. So anyway, leave comments. I read all the comments. So leave me comments about your morning. What are you doing with your first, second, or third cup of coffee? What are you doing as a practicing musician to get ready for your day? What are you doing to fight back the malaise of this lockdown situation that seems to be zapping a lot of our particular creative motivations and stuff like that? I would be curious to know. Maybe I can address some of them. Maybe I can adopt some of them if you guys are doing stuff that's working for y'all that so far is not working for me. Just looking for something that will work. That's ultimately the thing. The thing that you will do is the best thing. Somebody could have a better idea, but if you won't do it, it's not the best idea. It's the one that you've got to work. So anyway, guitar questions. If you're interested in lessons, hit me up. I do teach over Skype and stuff, so you can keep up your studies with any of that. They have modal questions. I answer a lot of modal questions. Doesn't matter what your instrument is. As a matter of fact, I've been giving my niece coaching on her music theory homework in high school, which is much to her chagrin because I make her do the work, and she's smart enough to do it. So, and y'all are smart enough to do it too. So if you have questions about anything you're looking at or working on, if I can help straighten that out. Would certainly love to help, and certainly give you my 2 cents on what to do with said theoretical construct, because it's just another guy's opinion about any of that stuff. So yeah, that concludes. Yeah, got 15 minutes. Let's keep these short. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you. Description, everything I used is in the bottom. Subscribe, like, do all of that stuff. There are places to tip if you are interested in doing such things. And thank you to everybody who has sent tips in. One of the reasons I started doing that is because people have been looking for a place to do that. And I am overwhelmed with generosity and kindness of people who have been tipping. So yeah, thank you. That is very helpful in this time when gig culture is definitely questionable and income is tight. So I appreciate all of that stuff. And if you're getting something out of this, I greatly appreciate that. You can help me out just by subscribing and sharing this around and letting everybody know that there's people out here doing stuff. Hopefully in an informative and entertaining kind of way. All right. This is definitely too long. So thank you. And we'll see you guys on the next one, Memorial Day weekend. You guys be safe out there. Continue to be safe out there. And I will talk to you very soon. Send me messages. Comment on stuff. I'm bad at this. I'm not even a YouTuber. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to end the stream now. Ending now. Yes. End the stream now. Ending. Bye, guys.